This is flaking off the base plate. It's quite a lot.
Good morning! It's Sunday morning, quite early, about 8 AM. The sun is actually out. There's not a dark cloud in the sky. The sky's quite clear. So we're gonna crack on and get it painted. We're being lifted out tomorrow morning. We don't know what time. So we're not gonna paint anything past about 9:30 this morning. So I allow it to have 24 hours to fully dry. So we're gonna whip on our third and final coat, and then we're gonna work on the gunnels because we've got loads of chips and stuff where we've been banging and there's the steel exposed and it's going rusty. So that's the plan for today. This bit's really satisfying. No.
She got a little overzealous with the rolling. We actually have some sunlight to dry it. So far so good on the clouds as well.
It's literally drying so fast. We're looking for the little pits that we missed. There.
If you can see any that we've missed, don't comment down below.
Because we'll be sad. There. Completely finished the blacking now, so we're pretty sure the sides are really protected and we're confident of how much we put on the bottom as well.
That was stressful.
Missed a bit. You can't just relax, can you?
Howdy. Having some lunch. We are using up the leftover potato and tofu from last night. Slapped even more mayo on it. That'll keep us going for this afternoon.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's time. We're gonna, probably a bit risky, but
Is that okay?
pop that out of the window so then we can use multi-tool downstairs.
Downstairs? That's not something we're used to. So far so good on the weather as well. A couple of ominous looking clouds, but fingers crossed it won't actually rain on us.
Yeah?
Perfect. Safety first.
So it's time to treat these. We wanted to do it for ages. We definitely shouldn't have let them go rusty, but we have. We're going to treat that with Furtan.
Whoa!
We feel like every boater has a multi-tool, so we got one. We're excited to play with it.
Rufus has been reading the instruction manual for us and he's pretty confident that you just bam it on and see what happens.
I'm scraping off the paint first and exposing steel around the rust. This one, look, it looks like a little hole, but it looks like a little hole, but there's more underneath. We're consulting King David for help on how to treat the fur tan. It's time for fur tan, which is a rust converter. So it basically gets the rust and
turns it into not rust.
Turn it into not rust.
We've done an all right job of sanding. This is what we've done to most of it. But there are bits like this, and
the issue we're having is we feel like even though this bit's rusty and this bit's rusty, underneath even the paint here is rusty too. And because we've had such a busy weekend, all we're going to do is any bits of rust we can see, we're going to put fur tan on. At least this rust isn't going to get any worse, and then we can treat the underneath after.
just about finished our pass with the fur tan, and guess what? It's raining again. I feel like we've gotten particularly unlucky on this one. Like, it is July and we've had a fair bit of sun. We finished at about 10:30 and it's started raining at about 2. So it's 4 hours. It's only 20 hours short of what it's supposed to have.
Like, it was touch dry, which I'm hoping means that the rain isn't going to affect it.
We'll see. Well, it seems to have dried up a bit again. We're hoping that it will be alright. It should be. It didn't rain too heavily today. It's better than when it came out. It goes back in tomorrow morning, so it's still got overnight to dry a bit more.
One last thing before we forget is I'm just going to put this on any bits of exposed steel that hasn't actually rusted yet. So we've got some bits like this and we don't want them to go rusty, so I'm just going to pop a bit on whilst we're doing all the paint and stuff. But we get to use this fancy tool. We were given this at Crick by one of our lovely subscribers. Oh wow, that is much, much easier, isn't it? Nice.
And it definitely looks like the fur tan's working its magic. It basically turns black.
And put this stuff over it and then paint.
Look at us go. One thing that we really want to fix at some point is our bent rudder.
Look at that.
We didn't do this, by the way. We bought it like this. It doesn't actually cause any problems with the steering. This bit should actually, I think, sit out of the water.
We don't know whether it causes any problems with the steering because we don't know otherwise. It does push slightly to one side, doesn't it?
I think I might have just walked into someone's garden. Quick, get out. All right, we're leaving. I'm not actually sure because we couldn't get through, but that does look like a public path sign. Attempt 2. Here we go. Is this correct? Now where are we going? That yellow sign means public, right? There's those the sheepsies. No idea where we're going. Just feels like someone's field now.
We're hoping this just leads to the towpath. Wow, though.
Pretty decent view. There are worse places to get lost. Well, we thought that that might lead to the towpath, and it does, but it's a bit barbed wirey.
Oh my. He's coming over.
He's so small. That was worth getting lost for.
Oh! I got that on camera. Look, you can't even put your finger in it, really.
It's pretty dry. The odds of being somewhat against us. I think we did it.
We did it. I do love our boat so much though. It's really weird. I was thinking the other day when I was painting it, like, you just don't get this kind of love with a house. I actually love this, like, boat so much. Like, it's kind of the same kind of love as a car, but even more. It's not even in like a materialistic way, like I own this thing. It's more like this thing is really special and it's mine. I don't know, it's probably really cheesy. Back to the regular scheduled chaos. One last job I forgot.
To be fair, I do get why Amy's feeling quite sentimental, because there's something quite special. It's very uniquely rewarding when you do like a big boat job and you've kind of fixed up your house and you've made it better for the next couple of years, and it's a lot of physical investment to do it, and then when it's done and you can step back and have pride in something that you really care about, it is quite special, and it helps when you're in a really nice place.
Yeah.
No. Kiss. No, good boy.
Good morning. It's about 8 o'clock on the Monday when we go back in the water. I've just got up super early, so I can quickly wipe off this fur tan, but it looks like it works. Then just put a coat of this Hammerite stuff on. It primes and undercoats and it protects from rust as well, just so then it's all ready to go. The boat will look a bit patchy and a bit messy for a while, but I think it's more important to protect the rust, so that's what we're going to prioritise. All done. She looks a bit patchy now. Well, very patchy, but it's important to get the rust treatment on just so it doesn't get any worse. And then, because this is all above the waterline, once it's dry we can sand it down, and when we eventually get the right paints, because the other's dried up, we can patch it up.
So all systems go. We've got the fenders back on, everything's back on the boat, and now we're getting the pets off the boat so that we can go back in the water. Come on then, Rufus. Lead hatch is back on. Seems pretty secure, and propeller is repacked. She's ready to go back in. This is it. Time to see if the weed hatch still works.
The things you stress about are so funny.
It's been a long weekend, but we're ready to go back in now.
She looks so good.
It'll be the last time we see the paint this nice. It's 20 to 10 as well, which means that we're 20 minutes off 24 hours of drying.
Yeah. It's going higher.
She's going up. Are you scared? I'm scared. We're so used to being able to see the waterline and the paint, so it looks like the boat sits so deep in the water now, and we're used to seeing it out now. I'm so nervous.
It doesn't look right.
That looks really low, doesn't it?
Feels good to be floating again. I just want to get going now. It's just so funny, like, Dupes has no idea that he's just in the middle of like a boat yard. You don't know any other bunny that's just so chill about being in a boat yard. Look at him. He's just like, oh, okay. This is so much gentler than ours.
That's it.
We're all paid up.
Ready to set back off and chip all the paint off in Foxton locks.
Absolutely smashed it, Wes.
And we're off. Back out onto the canal. It feels good. It feels like we were on that standing for ages.
It does, yeah, way longer than a weekend. We met some lovely people there. It's a really lovely marina. They were brilliant, really, really helpful, super knowledgeable and reasonably priced, so we would recommend.
It makes a lot of sense that when we leave the marina, the weather turns bad again. It's so windy, it's really cold, and it's threatening to rain, but paint's dry now, so we should be good. I mean, it's in the water now anyway, so can't really get any wetter than that. We're back. Just filling up with water. Time to scratch all our lovely paint off. Just got to bite the bullet, Amy, it's going to come off. Save the blacking. No. No. And there it goes. Yes. The first scuff of many. Really feel every bump into the wall of the canal just because I can just sense the blacking being slightly scuffed. Tend to keep Rufus busy in the locks by just shoveling treats into his face, and it seems to calm him down. He's actually quite good at Foxton now, even though it is quite an intimidating thing to go through for a dog, I'd imagine.
Holding on too long and unresolved questions hold you down. What could have been a friendly smile has turned into a frown. I'm moving on.
I realise I am actually quite on edge this time. We've been through this is our third time now. And it's still quite steady, but it's just because we've had such a big intensive weekend and the boat's been out and we've sort of seen the pitting and had the stuffing box repacked, so that's different. And I think all of that combined with just being in a deep trench with like a boat that you can literally see. It's just, yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming.
The landscape changes around me. On and on, I feel unrest.
Last one. We did it. Again.
We did it! And the sun's out. We're just mooring up at the top of Foxton now for the week, just to chill.
Amy's walked ahead with our favourite toys just to check if it's clear, and I think it is, so we can go back in one of our old favourite spots.
All crew, I can confirm the brick bridge is clear. Over.
Copy that, heading through, over.
All crew, there's a family of ducks approaching. Proceed with caution. I repeat, proceed with caution. Over.
Yeah, I'm fine, over.
Yes, over.
Oh, looking good.
Last job. It's time to play internet roulette. Only 3 bars this time. Significantly worse than it was last time. We're going on an internet hunt. We're going to catch a disappointing one. We found some internet. I think at some point we should time lapse the process of finding internet in spots like these, because obviously for you it's like a second, but we've probably been marching up and down this little bit of towpath for about 20 minutes. We found 29 down and 8.5 up, which should just about do it.
I just can't wait for the sections where we didn't have to worry, like all the way from Stoke-on-Trent, like all that way we didn't even have to check because it was just always good. And now again we're heading towards like Crick, it's getting slow again.
So now that we're back in the water, sun's come out and I'm feeling a bit too hot. There was this all weekend.
You know you're a real boater when you take your washing to the pub with you.
We're on our way back to the Bridge 61 pub and they've got showers and a laundrette, so we're going to go make use of both. Can anyone guess what else we might get from there? You were right.
Stop, because is this weird?
This is weird. You are outing yourself as a boater.
I just don't want to waste the sunlight.
We're just enjoying a little Pepsi at the pub with a loaf of bread on the table, and Amy's now hanging the washing up.
No, I'm not hanging the washing up. I'm putting a couple of pillowcases on the line.
It's not a line, it's a railing to a pub garden.
Stop.
Sometimes I feel like we are too boatery. We are now sufficiently cleaned and rested and chipped.
Bed and washed.
Yep, so we're just going to head back to the boat and back to work tomorrow. It's been a very productive, long weekend.
The sun's out and we've just done some washing, which means I get to play with my new toys. We got it at Crick. It's a brolly mate and a washing line, because we use this clothes horse. But it's so annoying because the wind blows it gets in the way. So we can put the tiller pin in there to hold it and then tighten that to secure.
Ducker, I'm trusting you with all of our washing. Whoa! That's far wobblier than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Look! That is so good.
At least we don't have to buy a sailboat anymore. We've got one ready to go. It's rotating. It's got a mind of its own. It's going in the drink. I shan't be relaxing for the duration of this evening. I hate it.
What do you think is going to happen?
I just feel like it's somehow going to blow in the water. If it does, go back to this bit. Saturday, it's about 1 o'clock and we have spent pretty much all morning in bed, asleep, and it has been wonderful. The only sort of chore thing that we've done is we've ordered another food shop delivery because next weekend is vegan camp out and we'll be in the middle of nowhere and we'll need lots of supplies. So we're doing one more big shop before we set off and make our way down there. Unlike last weekend though, it's really sunny now and we think this is finally officially summer. So we're going to take Rufus on the big field that's right near the boat. Just let him have a run around and enjoy the lovely weather. For anyone who doesn't know, Rufus is really rubbish off the lead. He's very, very unreliable. So we use his long line, and I think it's probably about the length of the boat. And it just means that he can run around quite freely, but then if he decides to do one of his things and just go off in a random direction, we've got time to sort of jump and grab the lead or that sort of thing. So it's just a little bit safer.
He did used to go off lead a little bit with his dog walker, but because he was familiar with the area, whereas now, because we're always in a different place, he's not as familiar. So if he did get lost, he wouldn't know where to find his way home. Come on then, come on then. Come on then.
The only thing you do have to watch out for is when he picks up some speed, the lead can come round pretty quickly. And years ago I got 2 really bad rope burns across the backs of my knees. You just have to keep an eye out for which way he's going.
Rufus, come here then! I'll try and use the brolly mate for its actual purpose. Put an umbrella on it to see if it'll help Rufus. All we've got is this golf umbrella. Look.
It's quite old and a bit broken.
Oh, look at where the shade is. We need it for here. Well, that's pointless.
Ducker's got a nice bit of shade too. It is really cool in the boat, to be fair. Our blinds that we got are thermal, so the boat is so much cooler, whereas last year we were absolutely dying in the heat.
I remember this time last year it was really uncomfortable. but having the blinds shut on the side that the sun's beaming in on makes a huge difference. It's quite good for when we're cruising though. Yeah. Keep the sun off your head.
I mean, no more than a hat. Pulling in a pretty sweet 23.5 amps though. Had such a chilled day today. We've basically just lounged around watching Love Island. Amy's done some stuff for the TikTok and the Instagram, and I've been doing a little bit of editing. Now we've got our big food shop in preparation for vegan camp out. It's quite a big one.
Snacks, mainly.
But we've got our trolley, so it shouldn't be as bad as the last time we did it here. Up until now, everything's gone rather smoothly with our online deliveries, but there's no freezer stuff with this one, and we definitely ordered some, and we've checked the little online receipt and there was like 3 things on there. We were like, is there any freezer stuff? And they were like, no, it wasn't available, but there were 6 things that weren't available, and these 3 things weren't on that list. It's a lot easier to carry than our last time, but even then it does feel very light. And given that this was supposed to be like a bigger stock-up shop, something doesn't seem quite right. So we're gonna have to go through the list to make sure we have actually got it.
Still a decent amount.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go through now, make sure it's all there.
It doesn't really normally bother us, but it's just because we're gonna be in the middle of nowhere at an event. I'm gonna make sure we've got everything that we need.
9 things. 3 they didn't include that we should have had, and the rest were out of stock. So 3 of them we've paid for, so we're gonna need to get a refund on those. But one of them was the ice lollies, and we're in a heat wave.
The rest we can make do without, but I really wanted the ice lollies.
So we just rang Tesco customer service. He basically said that the driver has had similar issues as well, so it wasn't the driver, it was the person that packed the van. We're sad about the ice lollies, but it's not the end of the world, so they're just refunding it to us. But everything else was fine, and we still would recommend them.
Rufus, sort your ears out, you're gonna sunburn them. Rufus. Rufus.
Rufus! Thank you so much for coming on this up and down journey of blanking our narrowboat with us. We hope you enjoyed.
And a great big thank you to Janice, Arrowflyer, Lois and Gary for the chips this week.
And if you want to check us out more, you can find us at Boat Time UK on all socials.